Hi kids! Today we are going to be conducting a waste audit. Here we go. We will be learning about the impact that school and home waste can have on the environment. We will use math to measure some or all of the waste produced in one day at school or home, and we will brainstorm ways to reduce waste. Take some time to record these vocabulary words in your garden journals. Our first vocab word is decomposition. This is when microorganisms break down material to make soil. What kind of decomposers can you think of? Worms always come to my mind. Our next word is compostable. This is a material's ability to break down or decompose. So, what is composting? Have you heard of this before? First, let's start with our greens. Our greens are things that are fresh, like food scraps or grass clippings, and happen to be really high in nitrogen. Then we collect our browns. Our browns are dead and dried out organic matter like leaves, straw, and paper, or sometimes even bark or branches. These items are high in carbon. Next, we make a big pile of our greens and browns, but we make sure to put 3 times the amount of browns as greens. Do you know what that is called? A ratio. So we have a ratio of 3:1 of carbon to nitrogen. The next part is easy. We can sit back and relax as the sun heats the pile. The decomposers do their job breaking down the organic material. Do you know what the coolest part is? The pile gets steaming hot, and all of that heat is coming from the tiny microorganisms that you can't even see. They are working so hard that all of their tiny little body heat make the pile super hot. Every once in a while, we like to turn our pile to get some fresh air inside. We can add some water if the pile is looking a little dry, and hopefully, if our ratio is correct, it won't get stinky because it is decomposing properly. A couple of months once it's done composting, what do you think we are left with? That's right, compost. Compost can be used as amazing fertilizer for our plants to help them grow big and strong. Our next word is non-compostable. This is when a material cannot break down. So these are items like plastic or metal, things that little microorganisms can't quite eat. Would you put any of these items in your compost pile? Nope, I don't think so. Much like the word compostable, we have the word biodegradable. This also refers to materials that break down over time. So the opposite of degradable is non-degradable, and that also includes items such as plastic. Now, I'm sure you have all heard of this word, waste. Waste includes things we throw away that can be compostable, non-degradable, or recyclable. Unfortunately, most of our waste is non-degradable and has to be brought to a landfill. Landfills are places where trash builds up over time and is unable to break down. Yuck, look at that. But the good news is that we have the ability to redirect waste from the landfill by recycling, composting, and refusing to buy non-degradable plastics. You will be discussing more solutions with your garden teacher later on in the video. First, let's do a waste audit. Over to your garden teacher to get started.
Hi everyone, it's Gloria, the garden educator at San Benito Elementary School, and today I'm going to be conducting a waste audit at my house with the different waste products that I have. So underneath my sink I have 3 different bins that we regularly sort our waste into. One is this red bin, and this is where we put kitchen scraps to go into our compost pile. Then I also have this wooden box, which is where we put the recycling. So I have some recycling already in this box. And then there is this brown plastic trash can, where I put everything that cannot be recycled and cannot be composted. But I'm going to see today if I did a really good job of sorting, because it could be that something that could have been recycled actually wound up in the trash can. And that's not good. That means that that is going to go to the landfill where it can't be reused and where it hurts the environment. So this is why it's so great to do a waste audit at your home or at your school to know what you're really putting in the trash and if it has to go in the trash. So I'm going to dump this out. And I've got my gloves on so that I can do this sanitarily. Look at this. This is an apple cider, a sparkling cider bottle, and it was in the trash. And this actually can be recycled because it's glass. So I'm going to put that in the recycling bin. You can see my cat's ears. He's getting very curious about this. He's going to help me with the waste audit, it looks like. So all these plastic bags, unfortunately, unless you are going to reuse them for something else, which they could be reused, they have to go to the landfill because they can't be recycled in most recycling plants. Look at this. There was some celery in there, which could go to the compost. I'm really glad I did this. Bottle cap, that still has to go. Unless the bottle's with it, then it can go to the recycling center. Got some paper towel. Technically, paper products can be recycled, but what I've heard is that it harms the recycling machines if you just put a tiny bit of paper in there. You really want to focus on things that can be crushed and easily sorted by the recycling machines, like this plastic juice bottle. And look at this, we have some lemon peel, also can be composted. This looks like a little piece of seaweed. It can be composted. Some bits of chips, they can be composted. Little piece of cucumber can be composted. Leo is already composting. This is my cat, Leo. He's already composting some of the pieces of chips, which is probably not the best food for cats. Leo. There's some little pieces of broccoli that can be composted, some other little scraps. Another thing that's great about doing this waste audit is it helped me see, wow, a lot of plastic bags. Maybe I can try and buy produce that isn't already packaged in a plastic bag, and that would be a way that I could reduce my waste. I could instead get apples at farmers market and use a reusable bag to get them, which would be a lot better for the environment. So I hope that I've encouraged you to look through your trash, make sure that you have gloves so that you can do it sanitarily, and that there's a space where your parent or guardian or teacher, if you're doing this at school, is comfortable with you doing the sorting, and that you have their permission and maybe help and assistance with doing the waste sorting. And then you can see what's in your trash and how can you reduce your waste. All right. Well, I'll see you next time.
You may have already gone over some of these questions with your garden teacher, but take a minute to think about these questions and write your answers down in your garden journal. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you learned something new and now have the tools to be able to reduce, reuse, and recycle. See you next time.